Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This is the weekly landscape update that I started a couple weeks ago. I think we're up to number 3 right now. This is just going to be a weekly update of what progress I make on this new landscape job. Like I say, I'm just on a week-to-week basis. Some weeks it will move quick and some weeks it will move slow. This past week, I actually was on the road a little bit. I went and did a video at Bree Arthur's house. I put that video up a couple days ago. A lot of you seem to have enjoyed the landscape tour I did at her place. Yesterday I went to a friend of mine's nursery called Superior Plants. I think you guys will really like that video. I hope to get it up tomorrow. So I was on the road some. One other thing, I don't remember. Anyway, rain today, and now it's actually cold, but not abnormally cold. I think we're about maybe 5 degrees below normal. You would think by watching the weather report that it's, the apocalypse has happened, but we're only like 5 degrees below normal, and 24, 25 degrees for a low is really not that big of a deal in January and kind of normal. So I was able to mow the grass this week, which is kind of weird in January to be out mowing the grass, but the fescue and ryegrass that I had put down back in the late fall is looking absolutely fantastic. And so, like I say, I got that mowed this week, and I've got one other place I do some maintenance for as well. I'll maybe put up a piece of video from there next week and show you how good that turf looks as well. The next thing I got done was about half of the, you guys have seen some videos over here of me standing in front of debris piles, and not necessarily the best background. I don't have good backgrounds here yet. It's just a blank slate with, fences falling down and all kinds of, the back of the house torn off and stuff like that. But you guys have seen those debris piles over there. I'm about halfway through chipping that. I used an electric chipper. I had a gas chipper, and there's a video on my channel from me chipping some big limbs with a gas chipper I had. I actually sold it when I moved, and I bought this electric chipper, and it's okay. It can do limbs up to maybe 1.5 inches or so without having any problems. I think it's supposed to go up to maybe 2 inches, but I tried something that would barely fit in there, and it didn't like that at all. It's a good tool if you have trees that drop a lot of small limbs throughout the year, and it makes a really nice fine ground material. So it works okay. I mean, I think a lot of people might do this video and then go, hey, you got to get you one, you got to get you one, but I'm not that person. I think if you had a particular use where maybe you have a trash tree, there's some trees that just drop small limbs all year, like a golden rain tree does that, just constantly dropping little small limbs. It'd be a good machine to chip that stuff up and make some mulch out of that stuff. So if you have a use where you end up with a lot of small limbs laying on the ground all the time, electric chipper's would be a good fit for you, and I've got it linked down at the bottom. And then I ground some of the leaves up, and I got one of those little tub grinders. It's basically a glorified weed eater is what it is. It just thrashes the leaves in a barrel to grind them up, and it makes some nice material. But if there's any problem with the leaves, if they're slightly wet, if they have any sticks in them, if there's anything wrong with them at all, this thing backs up. The cords tear up really quickly. And so again, if you have a lot of leaves in the fall and you can stay on top of it, you can rake them up pretty quick while they're dry as they're coming off the tree, get them through this machine. It will eat through piles of leaves very quickly. Great machine. If you're a person who rakes them up and leaves them in a pile for 3 weeks and they get wet, it's just not going to be adequate probably for that. So again, it's a tool that works if all the stars align. And so that's what I'll say about that little leaf grinder. I can't remember how much that thing was, maybe $100 or something. But like I say, I know now if I want to run the leaves through it, and it does make a really nice material out of them very quickly. A very nice material that'll compost very quickly. And it reduces the size of the leaves very quickly. I do have to get them up quick, get them through it before they get wet or get sticks in them or whatever. From there, my lettuce that I put in last week came up. Most of it's come up this past week. It looks great. I think that over this next week, I've got some pansies and some other things I had bought in the fall that I never got planted in containers. Pansies don't last here they'll last until about early summer, but I'm going to make some pots out of the pansies I have and save some space in those pots for lettuce. And so I'll show you that next week. I've also got plants coming next week. A lot of plants actually, and so I'm going to be able to lay all the things out. I showed you how I've laid out things right now last week, and I'm going to have a lot of pieces to add to that, and so then I'm going to start sinking them in the ground. I just like to get it right, you know, get things where I want them, and so I'm getting a lot of pieces at once. So you're going to see, you know, potentially as many as, you know, 75 pieces to 100 pieces go in at one time in this landscape, which is kind of different than what I've done on the channel in the past. I just need some base line out here where it looks like this thing is moving forward. And then I've also got 2 bags coming from Soil Cube. That's actually coming today, so you'll see that next week. I'm going to use that. The space that I've cleared for the leaves and the and chipping the stuff up over here, which I'm only about halfway done with the chipping. That space is going to have lettuce planted in the ground. I'm going to use that Soil Cube compost that, if you've been watching my videos at all, it's actually a base of that on the ground out here under the mulch. You'll see it again next week. And also started my microgreens this week. And my technique for doing microgreens is I take a tray that has some drainage in the bottom of it, and I actually only had solid trays and I didn't want to buy any more trays. So I took a drill and drilled some drainage holes in the bottom of 3 trays. And then I put about a ½ inch of potting soil. It's actually a peat-based propagation mix. I know peat is not the most environmentally friendly thing, but that's actually what I had on hand left over from the other house. I put about a ½ inch of that soil mix into that tray that I put the holes in. Then I stack that into a tray that has no holes in it, so it doesn't leak on my on the rack in the house with the lights, with the electrical lights. Smart about that. And then I put the seed in. I pack it, water it, pack it down, and then put the seed in. And I did field peas, sunflowers, and a brassica mix. And I'll show you those next week. They will have germinated within 48 hours. They'll be this tall when you see them again in 7 days. I just did that right before I shot this video. So when you see this in 7 days, you'll be amazed how much these peas, sunflowers, and that brassica mix can come up in a week. I take, Holly helped out a lot putting the seed out. I put the seed in where it's basically touching, but not overlapping. If you end up overlapping the seeds at all, you can end up with some fungal issues in the tray. So you need a lot of seed, but you don't, like I say, you don't want it sitting on top of it, on top of itself. I stacked the 3 trays together. I put another solid tray on top. I put 2 bricks on top of it. In the 30 minutes I was working on this project, one of the bricks froze to my concrete pad over here, which is kind of funny. That'll tell you how it's cold out here. And then that went inside. I leave them stacked like that for probably 2 days, and then I'll unstack them and spread them out under the grow lights. And within, gosh, 8 to 10, maybe 11 days, I'll have finished pea shoots and sunflower shoots. And that brassica may take a day or 2 longer than that, but not a whole lot. And they're just fantastic. If you've never had pea shoots, or as microgreens, they're just great. It tastes just like peas. It's the weirdest thing. So you'll get to see that next week. So I think that's the update from this week. Things are moving forward, and I'm on the road again tomorrow shooting another nursery tour that you'll see next week. And then just following the rabbit hole, I've got going down a rabbit hole here of finding more, gonna really show you some more interesting things this year, I think. New plants and interesting things people are working on. I think when you see the video from Superior Plants tomorrow, you'll know what I mean by that, what you're going to be looking at during the year on my channel. Thanks for watching.